Well, hey, good afternoon, everyone. How are you? It's good to see you all. Thank you to everyone who might be sitting out there watching. Um, welcome. Welcome to the live stream. Welcome to the crazy gibberish. This is what I do. I talk, you guys listen. It's all awesome. How is everyone today? I figured we could do a little Q&A, a little Ask Me Anything today if you wanted to. Nothing major, just chill. Just a Friday chill stream, you know? It's a very refreshing. I do just want to jump in and say right now, I haven't done a shout out in a long time. So I want to give a shout out to my buddy Todd Fisher. Todd is one of the CMFICs over at Gods and Monsters. And I just wanted to say happy birthday to you, Todd. Now, I don't Facebook anymore except to put up things in Facebook. Hello, Paul. I don't put up stuff on Facebook anymore. But I do hop in to attach the info for the live streams over there because I stream to both platforms. I'll still do that. And I saw a notification about Todd's birthday. So happy birthday, Todd. You are an awesome person. And welcome to the next level, my friend. Remember, you gain a D6 hit points. And I think your saving throws get better. And your 2 hits get better. So keep that in mind. So this week, I have been painting. I've been talking about painting. I've been talking about crafting stuff. Wednesday night, I had an absolutely awesome time with Kat and Jayashiro. Ishii had to dip out. He wasn't feeling well, but Kat and I talked about 3D printing and painting and all sorts of stuff. We had a great time. We had a fantastic time. Now, one thing that I brought up, which I don't think I really emphasized properly enough when I was talking to Kat, because the question came up about downloading stuff where you can go to download items. But Kat also brought up the subject of painting miniatures and that she has a problem with it because her hands shake. She suffers from severe tremors. And so I went looking for some links to send her because I know I've seen different YouTube videos done by people who suffer everything from minor tremors all the way up to and including Parkinson's disease, and they can still paint. A lot of these guys can paint better than me, and the only thing I suffer from is not knowing how to paint good. But anyway, so I sent her some links, and that's good. And if you guys want me to share those links with you, I will pull those up and post them out in the stream. But one of the guys who had some comments about painting, or I don't know if it was one of the guys, but you know how the YouTube algorithm works. When you watch a video about auto racing, YouTube will be like, here's 5 or 6 more videos suggested to you that are also about things car related. And you can fall down a real rabbit hole. You know, you can start out at like, it's 9 o'clock. I want to watch an 8-minute video about this subject. And then it's 2 o'clock in the morning and you're subscribed to 5 new channels on things that are just completely only tangentially related to the things that you that you had originally started watching the video on. So I see a video pop up, and it's by this dude, Midwinter Minis, I think is his name. He's got hundreds of thousands of subs. You don't have to go sub to him. But anyway, I mean, you can if you want to. What I'm saying is it's not an endorsement of his channel. But he has this video up, and it's actually from last year, and it's titled, and serendipitously enough, it is titled, Recasting Could Save Games Workshop. Now, Mr. Midwinter Minis, right off the bat, you state that in the last year, well, over the course of a year from when you started talking to your video, or maybe it was a few years, I don't remember, but you state that Games Workshop stock value has gone up 1,600%. Not 160%, not 16%, 1,600%. That's 1,600% more than it was at the beginning. Games Workshop isn't going anywhere. We are stuck with them. And I know what you're thinking, Bill, you don't play 40K. The only thing Games Workshop related that you do is first, third, and fourth edition, second, third, and fourth edition Space Hulk. I just don't have a first edition Space Hulk set. I would love to have one, but I don't. But anyway, moving on. Why do you care about Games Workshop? The fact is that, like Wizards of the Coast, they stretch over and cast a shadow over the hobby regardless of whether I play or not. They don't do role-playing games anymore. They only have the faintest dabbling with role-playing games. But when a giant that big moves, all the houses in the kingdom shake. Do you follow what I'm saying? But this guy's premise was I see you, Simile. I will answer your question in a moment. Was just flawed from the outset. Save them from what? Save them from what? What bad is going to happen to Games Workshop? They have millions of addicts the world over. All right. People who line up outside Games Workshop stores to buy new minis and a new $20 copy of White Dwarf on the day that they drop, they're never leaving. And I have said before that Games Workshop's churn method of customers ensures that they will never lose value. Games Workshop is the Walmart of hobby companies, right? Except they only sell great value brands. GW had some missteps in the early mid-2000s. But now they have a stranglehold on their corner of the hobby. I mean, I say vehemently, and I mean this now and forever, even if you're like, yeah, but Bill, I don't play 40K stuff, but I like their paints. Don't buy Games Workshop paints. Don't do it. Don't do it. I am telling you now, don't buy Games Workshop paints. Games Workshop paints are bad and they're not worth owning. They cost too much. You get too little. And they dry out much quicker than, say, Reaper paints or Baleo paints or Army Painter paints. Old Games Workshop paints, if somebody is selling you an old Coat d'Arms mixed Citadel Colors paint and they say, yeah, this is, this is still good. If you're buying it face to face, give it a little shake. It almost certainly is. If somebody's selling you something from the 2000s in one of the clear Citadel color bottles, and they're like, yeah, this is good, just keep on going. Hello, Cerulean Knight, and welcome. If you're over on Facebook, Cerulean says, hi there, found you through Ishii. Your original D&D stories are great. I'm a new boy to the hobby. I should get you. You know what? I should get Paul Stormberg to do an interview with Ishii, because you guys think I have good D&D stories. All the really cool D&D stories I have, Paul told me, and it's true. Hang on a second. But I'm not done ranting about Games Workshop yet, and this guy's, quite frankly, wrong-headed post. The premise that Games Workshop needs to be saved, it's ridiculous, and I'm going to explain customer churn. I am not a customer that Games Workshop ever wants, ever. If I was to go into a Games Workshop store, if I was just to completely lose my mind and go into a Games Workshop store and buy some Games Workshop stuff, I would buy it, assemble it, paint it, and use it regardless. I'm the guy who would bitch about codex changes, all right? I'm the dude who would insist on using his army the way he built it many years ago, all right? Guys who are about 40k the way I am about AD&D and still want to fight with their squats armies and their Harlequin armies, and I'm talking stuff from like 1989, 1990. Games Workshop doesn't want them as customers, because those dudes know to go buy Coat to Arms paints and use the DACA forums to find the paint equivalency chart. All right. Games Workshop's ideal customer is a male between the ages of 12 and 15, possibly 16 or 17, who is reliant on their parents for money to spend on the hobby, because the parents will do whatever is necessary. You know, if Johnny says he wants Warhammer minis and paints for his birthday or for Christmas, they'll go. That kid will dab a little paint on a few of his minis, go to a few tournaments, get stomped into the ground, and never do anything with it again. In 3 years, he's out of the hobby. He's either eBayed off his army, which GW also hates, or, better for them, he's taken all of his stuff, put it in a cardboard box, and set it up in the attic or on the closet shelf, and he discovers girls and cars and never touches it again. And they just keep churning the same age bracket over and over and over again. Because if that guy stays with a hobby, he finds paint equivalencies. He buys armies off of eBay. He asks questions that GW doesn't want to answer. That's the ideal Games Workshop customer. So the idea that Games Workshop needs to be saved is ridiculous. And the idea that Games Workshop would let third-party companies recast their stuff is completely ridiculous. It's lunacy. Games Workshop is never going to farm out casting to another company and say, oh yeah, go ahead and make squats for us. Go ahead and make Metal Sisters of Battle for us. Go ahead and make Metal 2E Terminators for us. It's just never going to happen. All right? They hate long-time gamers. They love churn. Okay? They don't want people coming into their stores or staying in their hobby who ask uncomfortable questions about why they increase their prices 5% every year when they do stuff like go to all plastic miniatures and continually narrow down their ranges. All right. And the other thing, and he was talking about the pros and cons of casting, and I laughed and I laughed and I laughed at this. And I left a comment to this effect. He said, you know, well, there's those who believe that recasting is bad, and of course, it's because Games Workshop has original IP. And you don't want people to steal their original IP. Games Workshop is many, 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 many things. Games Workshop is not original. Some of their visual designs are original. Some of their visual designs are. But I want you to take a look at something here. Just have a gander. Let me see if I can find this. All right, I'm going to paste this in both Facebook. While I'm doing this, I'm going to answer a few questions. Eric says, I wonder what Drunken D&D gibberish would sound like. I've been lit up before on stream. I'm not going to lie. You'd have to go find those streams. All right. So take a look at those, and while I do that, see, oh no, that's a bad image. Now, without visuals, let's talk about let's talk for just a hot minute about concepts. You know, law versus chaos. That's just Michael Moorcock stuff. Let's see if I can get this to go in the stream. Hopefully we'll shorten that URL. There you go. Law versus chaos. That's Michael Moorcock. I mean, the name Eldar, although they've dropped it now, the only other place that comes in reference to elves is Tolkien. All right? Games Workshop is so fucking ballsy that they think they owned the term Space Marine. E. Doc Smith invented the idea of guys wearing armored fighting spacesuits. There was some woman, let me see if I can find this, because I actually want to put this link up. Let me see if I can find this. This is back from 2013. This is from a website, Giant Freaking Robot. A woman published a book called Spots the Space Marine. There's the link. All right. Space Marine does not belong to Games Workshop. Games Workshop's things are just a mismatch of ideas. I will be the first person to tell you that Gary borrowed stuff from everywhere to make Dungeons & Dragons and baked it into this delicious role-playing game pie that is original and first edition advanced D&D. Okay? He borrowed stuff from everywhere, and he would be the first person to tell you that. I mean, gnomes were a last-minute add-in to AD&D because of a coffee table book about gnomes that was published in the 70s and an associated animated film. It was kind of a last-minute thing, but that's why there are gnomes in D&D. Games Workshop acts like, you know, they invented sliced bread. Fortunately, they got their dicks slammed in the door on the issue of Spots the Space Marine, Defense of the Fiddler, and that was the end of that. So they're backing off, and now they don't say Space Marine anymore. It's Adeptus Astartes, you know. And I think they've even backed off of Terminator Marines. I think they might even call them something else, or they've moved over to Primaris Marines, and Terminators will be retconned out in their ever shifting narrative of how the 40K lore works. You know, it just fucking changes from person to person. But I just found it annoying and insulting, this guy saying, oh, you know, Games Workshop has all this original IP. What? Where? Show it to me. Because I don't fucking see it. Sorry. I don't care what you do with your game, with Games Workshop stuff. I don't care if you 3D print it. I don't care if you download models. I don't care if you go to all the Chinese recasters, and I would share those links with you if I still had any of them, because they change them periodically, and buy them from there. I literally don't care. But what Games Workshop does, again, looms large over the hobby, and I don't like them. Anyway, whole lot of stuff on YouTube I'm going to be responding to. Anyway, catch me one night when I've had a Wobble Pop or 3, Eric, and you'll see how a drunken live stream goes. All right, let's see. I hope I didn't just blow somebody out, like, you know, they're at work, like, pleasantly listening to this, and I'm just dropping F-bombs, so I apologize if that's the case. Hello, Cam1138. By the way, THX1138 is one of my favorite science fiction films. It's one of the few things that Lucas really couldn't screw with all that much, you know. And the things he did, the digital things he did, actually, I liked. He made the cityscapes look more crowded, more oppressive. Let's see. So I'm going to start over here. Samuel Lee, my health is fine. I am doing Jim Dandy. Thank you for asking. The fatigue is like 99.999999999% gone. I'm doing great. Florida's off lockdowns most of the way, so you know everything's hunky dory. Cerulean, hello again. Thank you. Yeah, you know what? Getting over on Ishii's live stream was really, really helpful to me. And if you guys, like if you're following me on Facebook, go check out Ishii's live stream, Jayashiro Finney, on YouTube. Great channel, great stuff. He and Kat are fun people, and he talks about boobs a lot, which is gets a thumbs up from me. And let's see. Cerulean says, I'm also here due to Ishii and Kat. Funny, I found Ishii through Professor Geek. It seems like all the cool people are small. I'm not that small, buddy, but thank you. Cam1138 says, never had interest in GW stuff other than paint. Don't buy Games Workshop paints. I'm going to stop you right now, right this second. I'm going to put the brakes on that, because I'm going to go over here. And let's see. I'm going to find some links here. Now, you can get Coat d'Arms paints in the UK, but shipping and time could be a bit of a bear. Are these guys in the... I think these guys are in the US. I can't speak for them. I have a... You know what? Hang on a second. Let me see if I can find this. Ah, there we go. Okay, I can speak for these guys. Hard Knocks Games. These guys, I have purchased from them many times, and I like them a lot. I give them my endorsement for getting Coat d'Arms paints. The only reason The only reason I'm not saying go to Gods and Monsters, ask them to order you some is I don't think they can. I think I asked before and they could not get the coat to arms paints in. Their local supplier can't get them. So it would probably just behoove you just to go straight to Hard Knocks and get your coat to arms paints there. So that's one. All of the coat to arms paints are Citadel color. They're the same formulations that they were back in the day. And now the other thing is, this is a forum post. This will tell you how to buy GW like paints and not have to give GW any money. Not saying it's my currently favored paint. That's cool, but I'm just saying. Cerulean says, Mr. Delver. Oh no, I'm not Mr. Delver. My father is Mr. Delver. Actually, my father would have never been Mr. Delver. He just said, what? My dad was very Hank Hill-like. I loved him and I miss him dearly every day. But yeah, if you called my dad Mr. Delver, he'd, all right. So just Bill. Bill is fine. You can call me Bill. What do I think should be used to combat this kind of trademarking behavior? Well, as luck would have it, over on my Facebook stream is my buddy Eric, who is an actual attorney. I don't know, are you still over there, Eric? I don't see your comment anymore. But anyway, he might be a good person to ask about it. So Eric, if you've got some insight into that, and I want to give you the full question here. What do I think should be used to combat this kind of trademarking behavior? Make new and improved replacement content, or is there a way to reclaim? Okay, so Games Workshop has backed off of things that they know they can't copyright. Case in point, the Tau, T-A-U. Now, if you know anything about the Latin alphabet, you know that Tau is a letter in the Latin alphabet, and it's spelled the same way. There's Tau proteins, Tau particles, on and on and on, and the list goes on. And it's been used in the context of science fiction for a long time. Rather than have to come up with a completely different name, they just threw a apostrophe in there. They're the Tau. No. So, that's what they did to trademark Tau. But it also now frees you up to introduce an alien race called the Tau. Say, no, mine are called the Tau. You guys have the Tau. Space elves aren't called Eldar anymore. Like I said, Space Marines are no longer Space Marines. They're Adeptus Astartes. Just, if you're going to go out and you're going to write a book about Space Marines, you're absolutely open up to. See you, Simile. Be well, my friend. Take care. So, as far as reclaiming it, Games Workshop is seeding the field, and they're coming up with names that are trademarkable. Imperial Guard are called something different now too, because the word Imperial and Guard are, Roman legionnaires. If they were part of the divisions that guarded Caesar, were called Imperial Guard. They thought that was neat, and they applied it broadly across all the non-Space Marine humans who fight for the Emperor in 40K. Except, that you yourself could come up with a war game, and Yes, I can. I will show. Now, I'll warn you, Cerulean, I don't do stuff on Facebook anymore. I don't put content on Facebook anymore except to link and share my videos that I do. So if you want to go there and look at things that I was doing from last week back to 2007, that's awesome. But just don't go looking for me on Facebook. But here I am. But anyway, so Games Workshop is seeding the field in a lot of ways. So it's not really necessary to fight that fight. Where did my line? There it is. All right. That's me on Facebook. If you want to get a hold of me, the better way, you can message me on Facebook. Like if you send me a friend request, I'll do this. If you send me a friend request, I'll respond to it, and you can then message me. But I won't respond to posts or tags in my, tagging my name or anything like that. So, still, I've still got one foot in the Facebook swimming pool, but I'm not immersing myself in it anymore. Too much pee. So there's not much of a fight you have to commit to anymore to taking back things from Games Workshop. Power armored super soldiers fighting a war in the future is so openly generic. I don't know that I would call them Space Marines just yet. Maybe wait a little bit. But yeah, they're pretty much giving up on their whole, we own everything science fiction on the tabletop attitude that they had from about 2001 until a year and a half ago. But it may flare back up. Their lawyers may come in and say, hey, we're losing 1/200th of a pence because, this house dad has released a game that like 25 people have bought in total. And there's, grav armor and armored troops fighting aliens and that sort of thing. So who knows what shenanigans they'll pull. Who knows what evil lurks in the heart of men? Only the Games Workshop knows. But anyway, I've ranted enough about Games Workshop. I want to talk about other things. Still got these guys to paint. I think I'm going to have to completely I cleaned up my wet palette yesterday. I was telling you guys that like the mildew smell was literally knocking me out as I was sitting over here. And I mean, when I say it was literally, I don't mean in the way that everybody abuses literally, like figuratively. I was getting woozy from the smell coming off of that wet palette. So, yeah. Still viable paint or not, it all went in the trash last night. I tried to clean the plastic tray just because I'm trying to be environmentally conscious about it. But I don't know. I may just get a new sandwich box entirely and use that. Do me a favor though, if you're going to do wet palette, and everybody, you should be doing wet palette. Don't go buy an expensive wet palette. I've seen them pop up. Like I didn't even know you could buy wet palettes. I just thought they were things that you made. But I've seen them pop up like expensive ceramic trays with fitted lids and a washable sponge liner and everything like that. You don't need to. You need a sandwich box, a plastic like a Gladware sandwich box, a couple of paper towels, and some parchment paper. All right. This is stuff you can find at 7-Eleven, all of it. You can go buy this at 7-Eleven if you've got one near you, and be good to go. So I would not fart around with buying one. I mean, if that's your thing, if you're like, no, I want something this, then go ahead and spend your money however you it. But really, all you need is just that. So next week, of course, Monday. I don't think I'll have anything coming in the mail on Monday, but who knows? If I do, I'll share it with you guys. I'm kind of sitting on the fence though about purchases that I make and sharing them with you guys on Mail Call Monday, because it's not really like you guys have sent me something that's neat and I want to share. It's just like, yeah, I bought this, I spent my money. I'm still debating doing that. I'm still kind of toying with the idea of just rolling out like things that I bought, but I think I'll just stick with fan donations for now. It's a little too easy to fall into the whole, YouTuber unboxing culture of, I got sent this by a company or I bought this and now I'm going to share it with you. And it's even worse if it's something that, that you can't get, which I know is a little odd, primarily because a lot of stuff that I've shown, and even some stuff that I've gotten, like I'm looking over at the Holmes introductory Dungeons and Dragons set that Rusty Schaefer, hello Russ, if you're watching this, bought and donated to me. He gifted it to me and then I showed it to you guys. You can't get those. You can't. But I still showed it off, right? So what's the difference between me buying something rare and someone sending me something rare and showing it to you guys? I guess that's kind of a false premise. But anyway, I'll circle back around, as a certain person says, and decide on whether or not I want to do that. Let's see what else D&D related. Oh, I'm about to launch into I'm about to launch a project. I'm going to be sending a couple of things to Lulu, which is an online printing company. They do print on demand. And I'm going to see, and if it works, it may be something you guys can benefit from. I hope it works. But we'll have to see. I don't want to give it away yet. I don't want to give it away, but it is very D&D related. It's not another reason for me to rant about Games Workshop or whatever stupidity. So that's in the makings. But yeah, so next week, Monday and then Tuesday, we'll hop back to the paint lab and we'll be working on these guys some more. My Grenadier hireling set. And I'm going to be putting more colors on them, more than just like picking a color. I will base many colors on them. So I'll work on them. I'll shade the green and just do some highlights. I'll just do more than one, time permitting, because again, I'm doing 9 figures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I'm doing 9 pieces here. And it seems like a little thing, like painting the halfling's hat. Now I have to shade it, then start building up the highlight layers and so on. And then this guy's shirt, this guy's pants, the bags for a couple of people. But it does take a while. Cerulean Knight says, if you don't do much on Facebook, I won't bother. I avoid using it basically altogether. Good. Paul Bachleda says, if you're jazzed about a product older than you, I'm down for watching a geek out. Positivity is contagious. Well, thank you. You know what I think I'd like to do next week? That's Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday night, Wastrel Wednesday, with my co-host Kyle from Australia. we'll be playing some D&D, and then later Wednesday night, like further on into Wednesday evening, I will be doing another live stream with Ishii, but we're also gonna have Kyle on. And if you've been watching my live streams, you know Kyle has designed his own role-playing game that's currently in alpha, and I really want Kyle to talk about that process. I've written a lot of adventures. I've never designed an RPG. I just don't have what it takes to properly balance an RPG. I just don't. I can do adventures, no problem. Rules are not my jam. I'm not down with that. Bill Sylvie is not down with writing his own rules. I mean, I don't even like to house rule that much, you know. So Kyle will be on, and he will be able to answer a lot of your questions about designing your own RPG. And plus, he and I are going to get in a fight about fudging dice rolls to save characters in basic or in original and advanced D&D. So be there for that. Thursday will be more Paint Lab, and then Friday, a week from now, who knows? Who knows? I'm working on. I want to see if it's going to be possible for me to set up outside and do some airbrush paint labs. I cannot airbrush in here. This is a closed room completely. I can't get the proper ventilation. And setting up an airbrush hood and then trying to have the camera where it can see into the airbrush hood and see what I'm doing is just not going to happen. I know a lot of hobby YouTubers will just like, fuck it, I'm airbrushing in my studio. I can't do that. I have a daughter and a wife with respiratory issues. They have to have inhalers on hand. And I'm not putting them at risk by having atomized paint particulate get caught up in the ventilation system here in the house. So I airbrush outside. My studio is inside. You see the problem. More chat. Let's see. Oh, well, thank you, Winter Wolf. I appreciate that. Winter Wolf over on YouTube says, just turned on the notification bell, found your channel when you were on with Ishiro. I enjoy your content so far. Thank you. Cerulean says, agree, Paul. I can't believe I'm hearing a guy talk about paint. Next it'll be gardening. No, I don't garden. I can barely take care of my own yard. I'm sorry. See, Cerulean, I'm trying to make an RPG using fighting games as its base. When did you say you'll have Kyle on? I believe it'll be next Wednesday night. I'll double check with Ishii. I'll double check with Kyle. Having those guys on, like all three of us in a round table, is going to be a lot of fun. So, hopping back over. No questions so far on Facebook. Now, I want to say something about Facebook. I know I've been really dismissive about Facebook in the large, and with good reason. I'm sure you guys understand why. I don't want to be engaged in Facebook that much. Not because I don't really care about my friends who use Facebook. I do care about you guys. I don't care about the Facebook platform. In fact, I actively dislike the Facebook platform. But many of my friends are still there. And at the very least, I will maintain a tenuous connection to Facebook so I can continue to communicate with those people. Problem is, a lot of times folks will comment in the live stream on Facebook, and Facebook doesn't send a notification, and it doesn't even show up in the stream, or it disappears off the stream. Eric made a joke about seeing a drunken crazy gibberish live stream, and his comment is gone. It's gone out of the stream. You know, did Facebook screw me? Or did it temporarily get hidden? I don't know. So I at the very least, I want to stay attached enough to Facebook to occasionally go in and look at the videos and look at the whole comment stream and see if I missed anything. Because when I was like wasting a lot of time on Facebook that wasn't communicating with people, just like shit posting and doom scrolling and everything else, I'd come back a day later and see a comment, or I'd get a notification from someone. Oh, you had Jim Ward on. I had a question for him. Well, I didn't fucking see it. Facebook did not show my comment. Oh, there's a comment from Aaron Smith. Facebook is what I use. And it's for Aaron. It's for folks like Aaron who stay on Facebook that I will keep live streaming through Facebook. Because I like talking to you guys who are on Facebook and who are on YouTube both. So that will remain an outlet, a channel. And then I found a way to extend the middle finger to Facebook and stream to both, because apparently that's a no-no. That pleases me. I'm as pleased as punch that I can go in and I can stream to Facebook and to YouTube at the same time. Oh, that's good. But I had shared, just real quick, I just want to jump back on this just as real briefly. If you scroll up a little bit and look at the Astra album cover and the Baratakas video game, yeah, that's pretty much the Tau body armor design for 40K. Astra came out in 84, I think 83 or 84, and Baratakas came out 1989, 1987, sometime in there. So yeah, Games Workshop's originality, folks, in full bloom right there on your monitors. So I think I'm just going to keep the tab that has this paint range compatibility chart up forever and ever. And anytime anybody asks me about miniature painting, I'm going to be, boom, use this. Even if you don't like, here's a perfect example. Let me go up. Let's just look at this. Kislev Flesh. That's a Citadel model color. But there's an identical color from Vallejo game called Pale Flesh. Vallejo model color, if you can't find the game color, is identical. It's called Light Flesh. Instar Paints make an equivalent called Caramel. Instar Vintage, it's no longer made, so it's strictly historical. But Rackham make a paint called Pearly Flesh. Reaper, Rosy Highlight. We've been talking about Rosy Highlight. Let me see if I can find it. Rosy Shadow, Rosy Skin. Yeah. This is the equivalent of Kislev Flesh from Citadel Games Workshop. It's 30% less price-wise, and it has 30% more paint. It's like they're paying you to not buy Games Workshop paint. But Privateer, Rin Flesh, Coat d'Arms, just Flesh, Army Painter, Cobalt Skin, Scale 75, Pale Skin, Matte. So that's a whole run of light, rosy flesh tone you can use. And you never have to buy GW paints. So moving right along. Aaron, I am glad you love the show. Thank you very much. And it's guys like you that make sure that like mean that I will keep it on Facebook as well as streaming it on YouTube. Everybody's like, oh no, you have to have a streaming service. And like I looked up setting up a streaming service and it was not an easy thing. So I'm just dividing my CPU and bandwidth power and streaming it out. And I've never heard any complaints from you guys. Let's see. Cerulean Knight says, I'm lucky I'm only 17 and so my peers don't use the platform. Unfortunately, I refuse to use modern social media, so YouTube is my favorite site. Well, good. Good for you. Facebook is cancer. Don't use it. So there's not a bunch going on right now as far as new old school stuff. This weekend I'm gonna take stock of what's over on the shelf there and I'm going to look at things. Let me ask you guys something. What would you think, barring having a guest on next Friday, which could happen? There's a few people that I've wanted to have on the live stream, but barring having a guest on next Friday, or any other day for that matter, what would you guys think about watching a play demo of, say, Space Hulk or Dungeon or something like that? Tell me in the comments. Tell me if you would like to see that. I have enough table. I have been going crazy trying to clean the studio up again. It's sort of slipped back into chaos, and so I've been trying to get it squared away and cleaned up again. If you would like that, let me know. I'll set it out and do a little solo play, and you guys can see how it goes. If it's something you've never played before and you'd like to give a try, we'll have the opportunity to do that, because I have plenty of space upon which to do it. And I would love to do it if you guys want to see that. Aaron says, I still go on YouTube to like it sometimes. Well, I appreciate that. And while you guys think about that question, I just want to say, and I want to make sure I got the right number here. Let me take a look. Go over to YouTube and look at the old analytics. So yeah, 657 subscribers. This month, I have jumped up 131 subscribers. That is astounding. I actually think it's been more. I think it's been way more. See if I can figure this out. Go to YouTube Studio, and let's see. Is it video analytics? Is that what I want to see? So, is it audience? Is it engagement? Likes versus dislike? Reach? I don't really know. But the point is, it's really jumped up and it's really taken off. And it is so flattering to see that so many people have come in and have given me likes and have subscribed to the YouTube channel. It's so flattering, guys. Thank you so much. There's a lot I want to do as far as outreach with the YouTube channel. Facebook is a walled garden. All I can do, I can talk to you guys, but I don't get much back out of it other than your feedback. But YouTube, it's like there's a whole crowd of people out there who go, oh, what's this guy? I can check him out. And that has grown by leaps and bounds, at least on my scale, when I say leaps and bounds. And it's been so cool watching that happen in literally real time. 657 657 total subscriptions, almost 200 of those just in the space of like 30 or 40 days. Guys, I'm flattered beyond any definition of the word. When I hit 1,000 subscriptions, I'm going to have a virtual online gaming con. Miniatures for every session from live right here in the studio. You guys are going to be able to sign up, sign on, and get into some games. I will run them. Gamble World, Original D&D, AD&D, Twilight 2000, maybe some Fight in the Skies, which is a World War I biplane war game. Maybe some old Dungeon Electronic Computer Labyrinth game. I will host like a mini con of a day, like a full 18, 19 hour day, and I will run games for you guys. You can come in if you've never gotten a chance to play original D&D or first edition AD&D or any of the other games I've mentioned. And it doesn't even have to be an old school game. I will run Tales from the Loop. I will run Tales from the Loop for you guys. Gladly, happily. And, we'll have a lot of fun doing that. So, I really, really do want to do that. And I will do it when we hit 1,000 subscriptions. If you guys have friends who even a little bit are interested in tabletop gaming, in miniatures, in war games, anything like that, you tell them to come over here and click subscribe and click the bell icon. And when I hit 1,000, boom, convention for you guys. I'll do it. And by convention, I mean free convention. I don't mean I'll be charging. All right? I will run a games day, and you can just come and sit down and play. And we'll have a fine old time. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm told I'm a pretty okay dungeon master. So, let's see. Aaron says, I want to play Gamma World. Well, Aaron, you know what to do, buddy. If you're not, and I know you are, Aaron. Aaron is a cool guy. Let me tell you, I'm just going to tell you a quick story about Aaron. Aaron restores. He's been a guest on my show. I need to have you back so we can get the audio working better and people can hear me as well as hear you. But Aaron has taken D&D books that now I'm not a guy like I won't throw away a D&D book. Cat. I'm not yelling at you, honey. My wife's cat just decided to join us. That's the thing, when you get the random the live shows, you just get random stuff. I just hope she doesn't start trying to rub her face on the lighting tripod, otherwise there will be trouble. So one day Aaron posts on his Facebook, he's like he's going through this process where he took a D&D book that was just completely ruined. Like the cover was annihilated. It was shredded. And he rebuilt the cover and rebound the book, and it looks like you just like walked into Toys R Us and bought a Monster Manual too. Or was it second edition stuff, Aaron? I'll let you pop in the chat and say. But yeah, this is a guy who brought a skill to the table that none of us as gamers ever think about. Our books start to fall apart and we grab the duct tape. Or the clear librarian's tape if we're being all snooty. It was a wilderness survival guide. It was better off dead. But anyway, I'm kidding. That's not me shaking. You guys aren't suffering from Bell's palsy. My cat is bathing herself vigorously. My wife's cat is bathing herself vigorously. Aaron rebuilt those books. He made them look like new. I mean, here's a guy who looked at a D&D book and said, no, that's not going in the trash. I'm not going to turn that into decoupage. I mean, that is paying fealty. That is paying homage to our old school gaming hobby. Now, my buddy Todd out at Gods and Monsters, in a box of stuff that I took off his hands, there was a Dungeon Master's guide that was in dire shape. I mean, this thing was blown out. It just had cloth tatters from the cloth binding that the old editions had, holding the two covers on. Paul says, you've been talking up Space Hulk. Maybe give that a run. I haven't played it in decades, and I'm sure new folks would be interested. Just make sure that camera battery is charged. Yes. Yes. I may get dummies or wall warts. Or just to have multiple batteries to swap in, because I get about 4 or 5 hours out of my dummy for my DSLR, but these are on their last legs right now. I'm not going to have much more than an hour off of these. Anyway, So I was talking about Aaron and this book, but it was effectively gone. But I couldn't throw it away. All the pages were still tightly held in. They were just held in by cloth. Which again, if you know how old D&D books were bound, yes, they're cardboard covers, but the spines are stitched. There's a strip of cloth in there that holds everything together. It's not just glued. This is the international hand signal for glued, by the way, in case you were wondering. So I put it up for sale on a Facebook RPG group, and I said, look, it was a marketplace group. I said, you can have this. Like, this will go to the first person who says, I want it. You got to pay me for shipping, and I'll mail it to you. But here's the condition. You cannot throw this book away. You can't cut it apart and make decoupage or D&D paper mache out of it. I said, you gotta want it for restoration purposes. And somebody stepped in and said, I'll take it. I know someone who restores it. And that did me just worlds of good, knowing that it was going. I wish I'd gotten pictures back from the guy. He said he would share pictures. Maybe it was just one of those things that he wasn't able to get to show me. So, but yeah, you preserve things. You don't just, you don't just toss them away. And Aaron has that going on. He has that love of seeing books maintained. I'm of a very cautious Fahrenheit 451 kind of view of books. Like, you don't destroy books, Now, I've read some bad books. I've read some terrible books that were just garbage. They were so badly written that I was just like, ugh. But, they went into the trade pile. Maybe somebody will find those books and be like, this is the best thing ever written. But yeah, I don't believe in destroying books. And thank God for people like Aaron. But I will be doing my own book preservation progress, but more on that as time approaches. So some questions. Whoa, playing a boatload of old games sounds epic. Well, you guys know what to do to make that happen. And I'll be able to do cool things. Like, I'm not going to lie. Yes, I can monetize when I get 1,000 or more viewers. But it has to stay above. If it drops below, there it goes. But I can also do things like notifications and polls. I can do polls. I can do mobile live streams for you guys. Like, I can live stream on YouTube. I can go outside and do that airbrushing thing by live streaming on a mobile device. So Paul says, speaking of D&D bindings, how about that first print 5e binding? Utter trash. Better or worse than the early 2e bindings, because those books fell apart. And I'll tell you, and I'll repeat this on Ishi's live stream. I wish I had a first edition book handy. But here's the thing. My older first edition books, they date from the 1970s, the 1980s. Whoever had them before me used them vigorously. I've used them vigorously. I've taken care of them. I haven't, trashed them, used the front of a Dungeon Master's Guide as a pizza plate or anything like that. But at the same time, I don't baby them. I don't keep them in argon, in sealed, argon UV ray protection boxes and high up on the wall where no one can touch them. But they're still durable. They're still viable. When Gary came back and took control of TSR, the Bloom brothers still were able to pull financial strings. And so, to maximize profits, they got the cheapest bindings possible on the next run of books from Random House. And Gary was like, look, you want to save 3 cents a book, and it's going to cost it. There were people who bought Unearthed Arcana at Gen Con the year it released, did, like, took it back to their hotel room, played it, gamed with it, flipped through it, and then came back down to TSR's booth and said, this fucking thing's falling apart. Because they were. My couple of copies of Unearthed Arcana from back in the day are in awful shape. You can feel the bindings crunch when you open it up because they used a lot of glue and as little thread as possible. So the result is that, Gary said, look, again, you want to spend dollars to save pennies, because these books are getting returned. Sometimes the vendors were getting, like, people would pick them up in the bookstore. Oh shit, this is falling apart. And that continued on into second edition. Second edition books were notorious for fall apart. Enter a guy like Aaron who can do something about it. Aaron says, I would have restored it for you, no problem, and sent it back to you. Well, we can hope that it went, that someone equally went to the trouble of doing a good job restoring. I didn't know you at the time, Aaron, or else I would have been like, this looks like a job for Aaron Smith, and gladly sent it to you. But yeah, the Bloom brothers were absolutely okay with sending out inferior books. So you get what we had here last week, which was the way he wants it. Well, he gets it. Little Cool Hand Luke reference there. Oh, let's see. Paul says, yeah, I'm stoked for some older stuff. Bill keeps saying things like Twilight 2000 and Gamma World. Great games of yore. Yes. Yes. You guys got to bring it to me, I'm coaching over here. Y'all are the players. Y'all know how to make the plays. Tell your friends to subscribe and click the bell icon, Ring the bell. You can ring the bell. I'm not going to do that. But anytime, whenever we hit, because it is an us thing, whenever we hit 1,000 subs, Minicon, it's going to happen. So, that's about what I've got for today, for this Friday. I have got a lot of stuff I have to do. My oldest is in finals crunch right now, and there's actually some things I can do to assist her with that. Not doing her work, just collating things so that she can take them and do them a bit more efficiently. I got to run to the store and get some supper-y kind of stuff. So, domesticating. Anyway, it has been a stone groove. I did not think this was going to be that elaborate of a Friday. We had Aaron commenting in, and Aaron, I'm going to have you on the live stream again soon, so just brace yourself for that. Brace yourself. Delver is coming. And all you folks over on YouTube today who made it work, Winterwolf, Paul, Cerulean, Samuli, Cam 1138. Thank you all so much for stopping by today. I appreciate it. Love you all. Thanks so much. I will see you all Monday. And I'm leaning hard towards doing some Space Hulk as a game demo, perhaps Monday. The more I think about it, the more I think I'd like to do it. So let's definitely look forward to that. And I will see you guys all next week. Again, I do love you all. Happy birthday again. Almost a Merry Christmas. Happy birthday again to my dear, dear friend Todd Fisher down at Gods and Monsters. Gods and Monsters is the best comic book store in the universe. Take care, guys. She Flung Dung. I swapped from Facebook to YouTube. They're cool kids. See ya. Have a super duper weekend. You too, She Flung Dung. And I will let you guys get on with your afternoon. Y'all make this possible and y'all make this fun, and I love y'all for it. All right.